Joe Gibbs Racing, the team that just lost Kyle Busch's number 18 car and is going to be replacing Kyle Busch with Ty Gibbs, the young NASCAR Xfinity Series champion from this past year. But there's a certain driver that looks to be the leader of the team for the future coming. Because Denny Hamlin's 42, Martin Truex Jr. is 42, Ty Gibbs is 20 years old, and that leaves one other driver, the driver of the number 20 car, otherwise known as Christopher Bell. Now, Christopher Bell has had 3 years of experience in the NASCAR Cup Series. In his first year, it was with Levine Family Racing, and in the 2020 season, he had 36 races, 0 wins, 2 top 5s, 7 top 10s, 0 poles. He finished 20th in the standings, had an average start of 23.9, and an average finish of 20.3. So not bad for a team that had a technical alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing. And he did kind of perform, as you would expect the rookie to do in the Cup Series season for a team that's not even competitive. And then Levine Family Racing shut down, and they made a decision, Joe Gibbs made a decision to bring Christopher Bell or keep Eric Jones. And they made the decision to bring Christopher Bell. And I can honestly say this, it's worked out for both parties because Eric Jones won a race this season for Petty GMS. And, I mean, Christopher Bell looks like he's going to be the leader of Joe Gibbs Racing for the foreseeable future, because last year in 2021, he had 36 races, 1 win, 7 top 5s, 16 top 10s, 0 poles. He finished 12th in standings, had the average start of 11.5 and average finish of 15.8. So his first season with Joe Gibbs Racing ended up getting a win, more than doubling his top 5s, at least doubling his top 10s by 2. He had 12 more top 10s than he did in his rookie season, and he had 5 more top 5s in his rookie season than he did when he came to the 2021 season, and he ended up finishing 12th in the points, which means he made the playoffs due to that win. But can he get better? Well, we obviously know, if you guys watched the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season, then you know that Christopher Bell did in fact indeed better his 2021 season. Christopher Bell, the future leader of Joe Gibbs Racing in 2022, had 36 races, 3 wins, 12 top 5s, 20 top 10s, had 4 poles, finished 3rd in standings, was battling for the championship thanks to his win at Martinsville. And this year, those two of his wins came in clutch wins. One at the Charlotte Roval, one at Martinsville. And he ended up finishing 3rd in the championship. So this is Christopher Bell's official best finish as a NASCAR Cup Series driver so far. And this is only his 3rd season. He had an average start of 10.1 and average for 13.8. If he really wants to be a championship contender over the next coming seasons, all he needs to do is work on that average finish. Because if he can get that average finish close to a top 10 average finish, like I say 10.5, Christopher Bell's going to be a legit threat. But considering he came up in the clutch and won at a road course and won at a short track, that means Christopher Bell can basically win at any type of track, because I know he's good at the Bristol Dirt, and I know he's good at when it comes to the super speedway races. So Christopher Bell is definitely a legit contender when it comes to winning a NASCAR Cup Series championship. And the reason why I said Christopher Bell is going to be the leader of Joe Gibbs Racing is Christopher Bell is only 27 years old. He hasn't even reached the peak of his NASCAR career, because NASCAR drivers don't peak until they hit at least their early 30s or late 20s. That's around the time when NASCAR drivers peak. So Christopher Bell is slowly building up his momentum to when he gets into his NASCAR peak. And when he gets to his NASCAR peak, he's going to be the leader of Joe Gibbs Racing. I think Denny Hamlin's going to go drive off for his own team. Martin Truex Jr. will retire. Ty Gibbs is too young, and that leaves when Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin leave, Christopher Bell will probably be around 30 years old, so he'll be in his prime, and he'll be tasked with leading the team into the future as their best driver. Now, obviously, Ty Gibbs has the last name of Gibbs for Joe Gibbs, so you expect Ty Gibbs to be the leader or future Joe Gibbs? No, I don't really think so. I think everything is going to be put on Christopher Bell to lead this team into the future, because he's going to have to follow the legacies of how Kyle Busch did in Joe Gibbs Racing, how Denny Hamlin did in Joe Gibbs Racing, because those two drivers, up until last season with Kyle Busch, they were loyal to Joe Gibbs. Kyle Busch spent 15 years as a Joe Gibbs Racing driver, and Denny Hamlin has spent, I believe, 17 years as a Joe Gibbs Racing driver, because Denny Hamlin's been with Joe Gibbs Racing ever since he started in the NASCAR Cup Series. So those two drivers have been very, very loyal to them. And I believe that Christopher Bell is going to be loyal to Joe Gibbs Racing as well, considering the fact that they had a choice to either keep Eric Jones or put in Christopher Bell, and they put in Christopher Bell. So they put the faith in to Christopher Bell, and Christopher Bell is showing them back by making it to the championship 4, by picking up 3 wins this season, by picking up the top 5s, picking up the top 10s. And Christopher Bell is definitely going to be the future of Joe Gibbs Racing when it comes to the foreseeable future. And I expect Christopher Bell to possibly contend by the end of his career. I think Christopher Bell can at least win 1 to 2 NASCAR championships. I don't think he's going to win more than 2, but I definitely consider Christopher Bell, before he even gets to his prime, as a very threat to winning a NASCAR championship for the foreseeable future.